Time-Worn Spire is back in Destiny 2 as part of Iron Banner in Season of the Chosen. This is a rapid-fire pulse rifle that packs a punch, and it's got a decent perk pool which makes this one viable for PvP and PVE content. Today I'm going to have a look at the weapon stats, the god rolls for PvE and PvP, plus how to get the Time-Worn Spire in Destiny 2. And if you like this video, don't forget to hit that subscribe button down below for all the latest Destiny 2 content and turn notifications by hitting that bell. Well, the Time-Worn Spire is a legendary kinetic pulse rifle and it's a rapid fire frame, so it's got deeper ammo reserves and it's slightly faster reload when the magazine is empty. And this one is a returning weapon from Destiny 2 Year 1, but this time it's got random rolls. So looking at the stats, we got 23 for impact, 33 for range, 54 for stability, 33 for handling, 37 for reload speed. It's a 540 rounds per minute pulse rifle with 37 in the magazine. Let's check out the perks and some of the god rolls for PvE and PvP. So for PvE, Feeding Frenzy and Rampage would be a decent roll, and that one is the most popular roll out there in the community right now. Feeding Frenzy gives you increased reload speed based on the number of rapid kills you get, and Rampage gives you that increase in damage which stacks up to 3 times. Subsistence and One for All will be another good roll to look out for, and One for All is a new perk where hitting 3 separate targets increases the damage for a moderate duration. For PvP, Quick Draw and Iron Grip will be a decent roll, and Iron Grip is an Iron Banner exclusive perk that massively improves stability at the cost of reload speed, and it's always worth looking out for these exclusive Iron Banner perks as they are quite interesting. Moving Target and Vorpal Weapon would be another decent PvP roll. Well, next up, let's have a look at how to get the Time-Worn Spire, and to get the Time-Worn Spire you will need to run some Iron Banner. And this is a reward from the main Iron Banner quest called Saladin's Gauntlet, and that is in Season of the Chosen. At the end of step 4 in the quest you'll get a drop of the weapon. However, you'll also get drops throughout Iron Banner at the end of matches or when you hand in tokens to Lord Saladin in the tower. In previous seasons I haven't really seen too many weapons drop, but this season I seem to be getting more weapons throughout the Iron Banner quest. So just before we go today, I wanted to check out the Time-Worn Spire lore, as it has some really interesting implications for Season of the Chosen, and specifically the relationship with Zavala and Lord Saladin. So the Time-Worn Spire, forged in honour of Silumar and persistence in the face of impossible odds. A cold wind whipped Lord Saladin's cloak as he reached the bottom of the stairwell and entered a small courtyard carved in the side of the wall. The orange glow of the lost city poured through the arched windows, washing over the room's contents. Leafy ferns, decorative pillars, a dried tiled fountain, and Commander Zavala, seated at a small metal table against the wall. Saladin approached his former apprentice. "Wouldn't your office be more comfortable?" the Iron Lord asked. Zavala smiled faintly. "A different field for a different kind of battle." Saladin took a seat at the table. "Quaint." Zavala grabbed a woven blanket from his lap and offered it to his mentor. "Wolves wear their own coats," Saladin said. Zavala smiled and tucked the cover under his chair, turning his attention to the lacquered wooden board in front of him. Etched lines formed a grid on its surface, and a pile of white and black oblate stones rested nearby. "Shall we?" Saladin picked up a stone and placed it on the board. Zavala followed with his own move, and the game was on. They sat silently as pieces continued to be set and removed. The board became crowded. Saladin held on his next turn, methodically scanning for options. He eventually grunted and waved in resignation. "I'm surprised you still invited me," Saladin said, breaking their silence. Zavala hesitated before he answered, fidgeting with a stone. "Your dissension on Keitel has been frustrating, I will admit." "You're expecting an Iron Lord to remain silent?" Saladin asked. Zavala sighed. "I was hoping an old friend would respect my position." "Titles are implements," Saladin said. "What earns respect is how you use them." and how should I use mine? To meet Keitel head-on and cut her down, Saladin said. A decisive action for a decisive victory. You desire another full-scale war with the Cabal? To chase them through the Black Gulfs? How many will die on this crusade of yours, and what will you leave behind? Saladin chuckled sardonically, still finding excuses to avoid the hard choices. Every victory requires sacrifice. You would wear those sacrifices as accolades, but I see them for what they are, Zavala said firmly. Consequences of my failure. It's easy to judge from your plush command centre, Saladin growled as his demeanour soured. But someday soon, you'll find yourself in a position with no easy way out. No victory on the horizon, no clever escapes, nothing but a disaster and a choice of who pays the price. There are more currencies in war than the body count, Zavala said gravely. Saladin looked out at the glimmering lights of the last city. Maybe so, but you don't always get to choose. Sometimes the exchange is decided for you. Sometimes you're stuck on the other side of the door while your friends burn. Zavala saw pain in the furrowed creases of the Iron Lord's face. I've lost people as well. Not nearly as many as you will, Saladin answered. Zavala sighed and placed his arms behind his back. I'm sorry, I've been such a disappointment to you. Saladin shook his head and stood from the table. You've exceeded all my hopes, Zavala, but you are still not what you could be and not what we need. Zavala stood as well. Be that as it may, I'm still your commander, and what I need is your obedience. Saladin smirked. You know better than to try and tame a wolf, old friend. Zavala stood, unmoving, and held his gaze on the Iron Lord. We both oppose Keitel's terms. That should be enough. He turned to leave, but the commander placed a hand on his shoulder. It's good to see you, outside the confines of duty, Zavala said. Saladin nodded, and then paced away. Zavala sat again at the table, studying the result of the game as the Iron Lord's footsteps faded. As always, really interesting stuff there, and a really good insight into Lord Saladin and the difference in opinion that he and Zavala have at the moment in how they deal with the Cabal this season. And I hope you found that interesting and informative. But it's definitely worth jumping in and getting this one. It's a really interesting weapon. And let me know down in the comments what you think about the Time-Worn Spire. Are you using it in PVE? And what role did you get? Or are you taking it into PvP and destroying other Guardians? Well, that is it for this guide on how to get the Time-Worn Spire pulse rifle in Destiny 2. And as always, thank you so much for watching. For more Destiny 2 content like this, hit that subscribe button down below and subscribe to This Week in Video Games. If you want to join the community, check out the Discord link in the description, or you can follow me on Twitter at TWIVG Podcast. If you enjoyed this video or found it useful, liking and sharing the video would really help me out. Otherwise, check out the other videos on the channel. Thanks again, I'll see you in the next video.